Hi there and welcome to episode 7 of Real Talk Fitness with ANPT. I am Ashleigh Cumins, the proud owner of ANPT, Ashleigh Newburn's personal training. If you're only just tuning in, this podcast is where we cut through the fluff, ditch the gimmicks, and get down to what really matters when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and becoming the best version of yourself. In today's episode, we're diving into the science of body composition, what it means, why it matters, and how focusing on fat loss and muscle growth can transform your health, performance, and confidence. Forget the number on the scale. Two people can weigh the same, but look completely different depending on their body composition. By understanding the balance of body fat and lean mass, you'll discover why fat loss isn't the same as weight loss, and how muscle building is the key to a lean, healthy physique. In today's episode, we'll explore actionable strategies, including power of resistance training, the role of cardio, and a brief overview of how to fuel your body with the right nutrition for optimal results. We'll also touch on the pillars of sleep and recovery, because progress isn't just made in the gym, but also when you're resting and rebuilding. By the end of today's episode, you'll have the tools to start improving your body composition one step at a time. So let's dive in. What is body composition? Body fat, stored energy, essential versus excessive fat, lean body mass, muscles, bones, organs, and water. You might be thinking, why focus on body composition, not just weight? Two people can weigh the same, but look drastically different. Fat loss versus weight loss. Losing fat while maintaining and building muscle leads to a leaner, healthier physique. Key point: muscle is more metabolic and active than fat. So the more muscle you have, the higher your resting metabolism. Why building muscle is so important. Increasing your lean muscle increases your resting metabolic rate, helping you burn more energy even when you're not exercising. An example, a person with 2 to 3 kilos more muscle burns an additional 50 to 70 calories a day without any extra activity. Over time, this can significantly contribute to a higher rate of fat loss. How to get more lean muscle mass. Strength training. Why strength training? Builds and maintains lean muscle, burns more calories during and after workouts. An acronym called EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Reduces the risk of metabolic slowdown during a fat loss phase. Strength training is one of the most effective tools for improving body composition because it builds and maintains lean muscle mass, promotes fat loss. Unlike cardio, we all love the feeling of getting a sweat on and feeling exhausted after a workout. A lot of my clients base their results of their workout on how sweaty they were or how exhausted they feel after a training session. It is hard to train yourself out of this sort of thinking, which is why on our class timetable we specifically do 2 classes of just strength training. Strength training is a lot more effective. Cardio, which primarily burns calories during the activity, strength training has a long-term metabolic effects and reshapes your body. I know from personal experiences with a lot of my clients might weigh the same, but they're already 2 to 3 sizes smaller. This is a prime example of that more muscle mass you have, the different shape you have. You might have less body fat. So it reshapes your body. Preserving muscle mass during a dieting phase is crucial. If you're trying to change your body composition and lose body fat, strength training is your key. One of the main reasons of this, it reduces the risk of metabolic slowdown during a fat loss phase. When you eat in a calorie deficit for fat loss, your body may adapt by reducing your metabolism. Our body doesn't like breaking that status quo. It's going to do whatever it can to preserve your energy. The solution to this is strength training, prevents this metabolic slowdown. By preserving and even building muscle, this is dependent on your nutrition, ensuring that weight loss primarily comes from fat rather than muscle. A little analogy, muscle acts like an insurance policy against metabolism decline. A few little principles for an effective strength training program: progressive overload, gradually increasing the difficulty of your workouts over time to stimulate muscle growth. Without any progressive overload, your body adapts and progress stalls. An example of that, a lot of my clients know, once they get to a certain rep range at a certain weight, I'll ask, how did that feel on a scale of 1 to 10? How many more reps could have you done? This allows me as your coach to then progressively overload this movement in a way that is going to keep progressing your results. There is a few different ways you can progressively overload to keep stimulating muscle growth and strength. We can increase the weight, increase the reps, increase the sets, improve your tempo. We might stay at that same weight and I might say to you, okay, let's focus on the tempo of this movement. This focuses on the time under tension. The other way we can progressively overload is reduce our rest periods. I want to keep this episode short and sweet. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to sit down and listen to a long podcast. With this being said, a few more points on strength training that is important is balance your volume and your recovery. Muscle growth happens outside the gym during recovery, not during the workout itself. Rest days are important. Prioritize good form. Prioritize compound movements, reason being higher calorie burn. They engage multiple muscles, maximum muscle growth using compound movements, functional strength. An example, a squat when we bend down to pick something up. A deadlift we do quite often. They are also time efficient. A lot of us are very time poor. Compound movements are where it's at. An example of this is in our 2 strength training classes that we prioritize, arms and abs and tummy, butts and thighs. We'll focus on this. We'll always focus on compound movements because of those reasons. Moving on to the next subject is cardio. There are 2 types of cardio: low intensity and high intensity interval training. Low intensity is walking, cycling, great for fat burning without taxing recovery. High intensity, short bursts of intense effort followed by a rest. Efficient but taxing. You might be asking yourself, what cardio should I be doing? Personally, again, getting back to ANPT and the way we structure classes, our classes are 30 minutes. So a lot of our cardio is high intensity, which brings me to explaining which one should I do. Being time poor in this day and age, high intensity training is ideal for those that do not have 60, 40, 50 minutes to do low intensity. You can get the same benefit doing high intensity with only 20 to 30 minutes. Cardio is also important when looking to changing your body composition. It can be an excellent tool to support the fat loss. The fine line here is too much cardio or the wrong approach can lead to muscle loss and stalled progress. Going back to recap on the strength training that we just spoke about, the more muscle mass you have, the faster your metabolism. The key with this is, and the takeaway that I would like you to take in, if you can take away anything, do not jeopardize your muscle mass for a weight on the scale. Cardio does matter for body composition. I'm not taking away from that. It has a calorie burn, it's heart health, fat oxidation, and performance enhancement. It improves our stamina, can boost strength training sessions. Because of this, it encourages your body to utilize fat as fuel, particularly during low intensity cardio, improves cardiovascular health, fitness, and endurance. Cardio also helps with the calorie burn when in a calorie deficit, which is necessary. A mixture of strength training and cardio is ideal, and consistency over perfection. Strength training results compound over time with consistency. To keep this episode short and sweet and effective for you guys, we'll briefly touch on nutrition strategies for body composition. Set your calorie target. There are multiple total daily estimated expenditure calculators out there. I do have one personally on the website. If you go to www.ashleighnewburnspersonaltraining.com.au, you'll find one. Fat loss aim for a slight calorie deficit, 10 to 20% below your maintenance calories. If your main goal is to increase your muscle before going down a track of body fat loss, aim for a slight surplus, 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance. Now, calories are all good and well. Where they come from is really important. A quick little macronutrient breakdown. To preserve muscle mass, reduce hunger, and support recovery, anywhere from 1.5 to 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. For protein, an example, if you're 70 kilos, around 120 grams of protein per day as a minimum. Protein sources are chicken breast, lean beef, eggs, Greek yogurt, protein shakes. We won't dive into this as we'll be here all day. Carbs, the second macronutrient. This nutrient fuels your workout and aids in recovery. Carbs are really important around training for optimal energy and performance. To keep it simple, sources of carbs: rice, potato, oats, fruits, vegetables. Then it brings to fats, the third macronutrient. Fats are essential. They're essential for our hormone health and satiety. Fats keep you fuller for longer. 20 to 30% of our daily calories should be coming from good sources of fat. These include avocado, olive oil, fishes, so things like your salmon, and seeds, nuts, etc. To briefly recap on that, calories are important, but where you get those calories from for body recomposition is more important. Focusing on where you're getting your protein, carbs, and fats from. Keep it simple. Focus on protein first, carbs in and around your training, and fats at the other times of your day with your meals to keep you full and satisfied. Quick little tip on nutrition timing. Pre-workout, what macronutrients should you base around? carbs and protein. Post-workout, carbs and protein. The different sort of carbs, fast digesting, things like your fruit, is perfect. Avoid heavy fats right before and after training. Don't avoid your fats altogether throughout the day, but in and around your training, they can slow down the digestion of your other nutrients. Key takeaways. Protein is critical for body recomposition. It preserves our muscle mass, reduces hunger, supports recovery, and boosts metabolism. Carbohydrates are energy for our workouts and recovery. They fuel our training, improve performance, aids in recovery, and also preserves muscle. Adequate carbs can prevent our muscle breakdown when we're in a calorie deficit in your training sessions. Fats are the key to hormones and feeling full. Fats matter, they support our hormone health, they keep you full for longer, and they also aid some nutrition absorption. To recap on this and give you an example, pre-workout nutrition, a banana and a protein shake. Rice cake with honey, a slice of whole grain bread. Post-workout, within 30 to 60 minutes after training, fast digesting protein plus carbs to help replenish your body and promote muscle repair. An example, again, Greek yogurt with berries and honey, a protein shake and banana, chicken breast rice. Keep it simple. For the rest of the day and throughout the day, spread protein evenly across all meals to maximize muscle growth. Often, if you're reading any documents or researching anything yourself with this motivation you may have with the new year, you'll read about protein synthesis. This is a fancy word for muscle growth and muscle repair, uptaking that protein to help those two things. I hope this helps keep it simple for you. We're briefly going to touch on recovery, then we'll wrap up today's episode. You might often ask yourself, why does sleep and recovery matter when it comes to body composition? Poor sleep raises cortisol. This word is thrown around a lot. It is our stress hormone. We are animals at the end of the day. Our body doesn't want to be uncomfortable or challenged. When cortisol is high, it increases fat storage. Think back to the Stone Age. If you are stressed, your body stores fat in the chance that you may not feed it again or any of these things. Our body will survive longer with a higher fat storage, which is why when cortisol is high, you will find losing fat a lot harder. Now, poor sleep can raise cortisol. Poor sleep also affects your muscle repair and growth. Our muscles repair and grow during a deep sleep. A few tips: 7 to 9 hours. Create a bedtime routine. Try and manage stress. Training is stress on our body. It is good stress, but overall, if you look at your body as a bucket, and our body doesn't differ between good stress and bad stress. So we put the good stress of training in this bucket. Then you have a really stressful job, you put that in the bucket. Then you're not sleeping very well, so you're putting more stress in that bucket. Eventually that bucket is going to overflow. The cortisol levels in your body are going to be through the roof. No matter how good your diet is, no matter how good your training, the stress and increased cortisol will work against you in changing your body composition. It is important to prioritize sleep and recovery just as important as it is to prioritize your training and your nutrition. Chronic cortisol can also slow down our metabolism, increase our hunger, and disrupt that fat burning process. An example of this, if you're ever really tired, I'll always say to my clients, how's your sleep been this week? Are you tired? Reason to that being is that when you're tired, it's been scientifically proven that you're hungrier. You might be thinking, why? It doesn't make sense. Again, our body isn't very smart. Our body goes, I am tired, I need more fuel. Where do we get our fuel from? Carbohydrates is our main source of energy. Our body will then crave this to make up that deficit of being tired. Our body isn't smart enough to go, oh, I'm tired, I need more sleep, I'm just going to have more sleep. Our body recognizes that you're tired, you need more energy. Therefore, your hunger hormone is going to increase as a default. Now, there is times and periods in your life where you may find it hard to prioritize sleep. With this in mind, you just need to keep rigid to the calories that you need. Try not to fall into that trap of being hungry. Recognize, am I actually hungry or am I hungry because I'm tired? The two hormones that are responsible for hunger are ghrelin and leptin. Now, ghrelin is the hunger hormone and leptin is the satiety hormone. They both work in opposite ways. Ghrelin increases the hunger, making you crave more calorie-dense food. Leptin decreases and is that hormone that makes you feel more satisfied after eating. Poor sleep can lead to overeating, weight gain, and reduced fat loss. Key takeaway, sleep is important. Managing your stress is just as important. Remembering that stress isn't just head noise. Stress can also be good stress on the body. Remember that bucket analogy that I just used before. Your body doesn't, know the difference between good and bad stress. It just looks at once that bucket's full, your body's default hormonal response. Tying in everything that we've just spoke about, our muscles repair and grow during deep sleep. If we're not getting deep sleep and you're busting your balls in the gym, lifting heavy, chances are you're not repairing properly. The growth hormone is produced during deep sleep. It is responsible for muscle repair. It is also responsible for fat metabolism. Moral of the story, no sleep, no recovery. Without quality sleep, muscle protein synthesis is reduced and your ability to repair and grow is hindered. Poor sleep also over time reduces our performance. Tying in everything that we spoke about low intensity cardio, high intensity cardio, prioritizing strength training for body composition and fat loss. Poor sleep or lack of sleep leads to decreased strength. Have you ever had a really shit night's sleep, turned up to the gym and felt weak? There you go. That's your answer. Reduced recovery. Persistent muscle soreness and fatigue. You go through weeks feeling, I'm so sore, I'm so tired. Have you ever reviewed, am I getting good sleep? If for the chances are that you cannot get 7 to 9 hours, again, 100% when I'm working, I aim for 6 hours. It's not enough. But I also try and prioritize a 20-minute nap during the day where I can to help with my recovery. Sleep is the main key to recovery, but it isn't everything when it comes to recovery. Recovery can also include foam rolling and stretching, active recovery. An example, I often like to, on a Sunday, do a low intensity walk, swim, something that doesn't tax from your body. Rest days are also an important part of your recovery. So at least 1 day a week to allow your muscles, joints, and nervous system to recover. The overall key to any success and journey, as we're not all the same, is listen to your body. If you feel exhausted or overly sore, take an extra rest. And again, when we speak about rest, it doesn't mean that you have to not turn up to the gym. It just might mean in your session, you take it as an active recovery. You reduce the intensity. You just move your body. You foam roll, you stretch. Overtraining can stall your progress and is an increased risk of hurting yourself. A few signs: you need more sleep or recovery. You're constantly fatigued. Your performance is starting to plateau. You find yourself constantly hungry or craving, as we spoke about before, high carb foods. Irritability. I feel this isn't spoken about. Poor mood or brain fog. Prioritizing your sleep and recovery is just like prioritizing your workouts and nutrition. A quick little overview. Deep sleep promotes muscle repair, growth hormone production, and fat metabolism. Managing stress, as we briefly spoke about with that bucket analogy. Stress is stress, good, bad, or indifferent. If it gets too much, it will also affect your recovery. Better recovery equals better workouts equals faster results. These are all linked together in changing your body composition. I feel living a busy life, I know I can speak from personal experience, having a 20-minute nap during the day for me sometimes is hard to convince myself because I believe, I could be doing this in this time. But sleep isn't lost time. It's an investment in your body's ability to grow, recover, and thrive. That wraps up this episode of science-backed tips for fat loss and muscle growth. We covered a lot, the essential pillars of improving your body composition. To recap on those, the strength training, why that's important, cardio, and briefly touching on the 2 different types of cardio, nutrition, a quick little touch on nutrition and why it's important, quick little touch on sleep and why prioritizing sleep and recovery is important. If there is one thing I would love for you to take away from today, is remember true transformation isn't about quick fixes. It's about building sustainable habits over time. Consistency is your secret weapon. Here's a little challenge. Take one more small step this week. Maybe it's adding or prioritizing strength training sessions, or maybe it's just focusing on hitting your protein target. Or it could even be improving your sleep. Progress happens when you take action, no matter how small. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who could use a little extra motivation or tips. For more tips, workouts, or inspiration, feel free to follow me over at Ashleigh Newburn's Personal Training. Thank you again for tuning in to Real Talk Fitness with ANPT. Until next time, stay consistent, stay strong, and remember, small steps lead to big changes. Let's rebuild together in 2025.